One of the questions that many of you have asked me is, does it have to be integrated to the EMR, EHR, et cetera? Address that.
Yeah, great question. Probably one of the biggest questions we get when we're talking to payers is, what Rob just talked about is about clinical data. Well, how do I get clinical data out of electronic medical record? Don't we have to have, EMR connection? One of my favorite quotes from Da Vinci is simplicity is the greatest sophistication. I'm a realist, been in this business long enough, spent a lot of time in the EMR connection world. You guys have spent a lot of time the last 2 days talking about where the industry is on interoperability. I love the direction the industry is heading, and as interoperability becomes more of a reality, I think we're gonna see more of that data interface become, more real time. But today, all the payers, all the providers can go to a portal. Across the board, meaningful use is legit. And almost all providers, if they have access to the data, can drag that clinical data into a portal and run this process. So we started from the principle that meet the providers where they're at and meet the payers where they're at. And today, a multi-use portal, we're standing on the back of the work that Krisi and her team have done around creating that initial interface on Essentials, and then we're launching our workflow at a minimum from that particular portal. So that's the first part of our principle is that, and we would recommend across the board, start where you can address the entire network on day one. That being said, where providers, and the other thing I would say is not all provider systems are equal in terms of volume to the system. We look at the data we're collecting across the board. 20 systems generate large majority of the volume to the Florida Blue volume. So it is important to look at where we can add and where interoperability investments are made, we can further improve the process. And so one of the reasons I love, I'm an industry scale guy, this is an industry scale solution. So we have to start from the perspective of where we can address the largest volume with the largest amount of providers in order to create the most impact across the board. So we start with the payer portal, where the provider has made investments in EMR integration, and that includes partners. There are a number of players out there, including Olive and Rhyme and Epic Payer Portal and a number of others that are saying I can be that one-to-many connection partner to you, Essentials Pro, or all of those are examples of that. We love that. So when you are ready to do that, connect to us, and there will be things like your case creation. Will be easier because we can get the clinical data out, but I will mandate clinical data across all of those capabilities. So if you're a multi-payer, multi-provider partner and can demonstrate effective workflow and compliance around that one, great, we'd love to connect to it. I would argue Availity is in a unique position, I think, long term, to be in the position to be that gateway for those direct connections, and we like to see that investment. So I think that will improve over time, that the percentage of provider volume that's going to us on the portal will shift to a large majority of them are gonna come through a back-end system where we're truly by exception. So again, that's happening across the board.
And today, we have the APIs for it. We just need you to hook up those people and get those providers hooked up and send us the data.